The scope of the chaotic realm of time travel. Huh? Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? Tenshi 2? And I enjoyed the first one so much. I'm really interested to see where. Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of people saying, "Are you in it for the story?" And I'm like, well, I'm not trying to be blunt about everything like that, but you can tell who's still here. You got Q, you got Rose, we got Bunny. I'm not sure who the girl is in between Rose and Bunny, or who the girl in the pink is, but yeah, let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be, like I said, quite interesting. And the first one was so much fun. My name is Kenji Johnson, and not long ago I thought my life was crazy, absolutely overflowing with insanity. It all started about 3 weeks ago when my parents had been killed in the fire that had destroyed my home and everything in it. We remember that. Leaving me alone with no one to turn to. No one, that is, except for my maternal grandfather, Tensei Shiro. My mom had always described him as being a serious workaholic, and I hadn't seen him for a long while. But when I was alone and needed someone to help me get back on my feet, he was quick to come and bring me to the lab that functioned as his home and base of operations. A lab that he privately funded, a lab that he kept secret as possible, refusing any outside involvement from the government or any corporations. A lab where he and a few others had built what was quite possibly the most spectacular device in the whole of human history. The time window. Yep. A gateway that reached into the past, allowing anyone to travel back in time. There was no denying that he had accomplished one of humanity's wildest dreams. In the week since I arrived at Tensei's lab, a lot had happened. Much of which I can't really explain because I don't even think it happened anymore. But I do remember I made some good friends there. Yeah, good friends indeed. Rose, an English girl in this world and a sword-wielding knight in times not her own. Kyo, a bubbly girl whose attitude made her seem like she was far younger than she actually was. Who cares? She's got big boobs and she's holding a, looks like a Vita now. In the last game, it was it looked like it was a PSP. Oh, and there's Michelle. Possibly an even greater expert in the time window than my grandfather. And the woman who put me in a position where I had to make a choice. At first, everything seemed calm and normal, or so I thought. But I was wrong. A power surge caused the time window to burst open in a wave of light, a light that wrapped around Michelle and swallowed her up. The last thing we remembered was a piercing scream and a shockwave erupting from the time window, knocking everybody in the chamber unconscious. After we came to, Michelle was gone. All of us mourned the loss of a friend, but as we consoled each other, the time window suddenly activated again, filling the room with light. A different kind of light. And when we turned to face it, it dawned on me that we hadn't even begun to realize the scope of the chaotic realm of time travel. Huh? Well, are you guys ready or what? Everyone looked towards the time window and my mind screamed that this was impossible. There was just no way I could be seeing the apparition standing in front of us. It can't be. I'm gonna try to remember the voice as I did in the first game. Impossible! Why, it's a ghost! A ghost? Oh, ha, very funny, Kyo. What's with you, anyway? We need to get moving. Michelle? Michelle, is that really? The woman who could only be Michelle laughed at this before her chuckling faded a little as she frowned uncertainly and looked around at us. Good one. You're not joking, are you? The silence was deafening. What's going on here? She's a ghost with giant boobs. Why? Why are you all looking at me like that? And why did Kyo... Only my grandfather could respond to the apparition standing in the time window. Michelle, what is the last thing you remember? Is this some kind of a joke, Gramps? Because I'm not... Did Michelle happen to glance down at herself? Oh no. How? Michelle, please, stay focused. That's better. Now tell us what you can. What is the last thing you remember? Well, Kenji, he had just gotten back to the lab after we had Bunny and Mizuki patched in, and I was about to fire up the time window for the next experiment, and then I feel like something happened, and Rose, Kyo, Kenji, somebody tell me, what happened? Why do I look like... As Michelle frantically held out her arms to us, I thought about what to say. What was I supposed to say? But I didn't get a chance to speak. Just then the time window room exploded into a cacophony of voices. There was a sudden power surge. The time window, it turned on by itself. And... We saw you explode, Michelle. We thought you were... I couldn't even get a word in as everyone's voices tumbled on top of each other. And that's it. We thought... Michelle, what's happened to you? I don't know. Hang on, Rose. Look, I'm... Yeah! As Michelle tried to step off the time window's platform, a wall of energized blue sparked into existence as lightning crackled around where her knee had struck it. What in the... Michelle cautiously reached out to the space outside the time window. Eek! I'm stuck! I can't get out! I see. Rose, Kyo, we need to get to work finding out what precisely had happened here, and what can be done about it. Kenji? Yeah? Could you go to the cafeteria and wait there, at least until I send for you? This is probably gonna take a while, and, well, I'm afraid that whatever has happened, you're not well equipped to help us figure out exactly what is going on. Essentially, we're gonna have an orgy and you're not invited. I was tempted to protest at this because I really wanted to be a part of the orgy, but I realized that Tenshi was right. There was really nothing I could do to help Michelle. All I'd probably end up doing would be getting in everybody's way. Michelle? You just hang in there, okay? We'll figure this out. You bet we will! It wasn't long before Rose stepped forward, too. That's right. We've already done the impossible just by building the time window in the first place. I'm sure there's something we can do. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Really. Thank you, Kenji. Now please go. We need to get to work, and I suspect that we have a long day ahead of us. Everyone, get naked! Once I got to the cafeteria, I didn't know what to do. I wasn't in the mood to eat, I didn't have anything to read, and I don't think I could have even begun to distract myself with a movie or a video game. I probably could have. So in the end, all I could do was sit at one of the tables, watch as Michelle was pulled into the time window over and over in my mind, and wonder, what just happened? How did it happen? Well, I knew from my personal experiences that the time window wasn't the safest of inventions. This incident, it didn't seem to fit with them. Could have it just been a malfunction? There was a power surge, or maybe... Could Bunny and Mizuki have had something to do with it? I thought of the other two time travelers that had my friends had faced. There were two girls from the future, possibly centuries beyond our time. A future that had been decimated by plague, famine, and other natural disasters. And they were desperate to rewrite it for the better. And now, suddenly the door to the cafeteria slid open, snapping me out of my thoughts. But before we find out who walked through that door and what's going on, guys and gals, we're going to go ahead and call it an episode. And when we come back to the arcade, we're going to just see who's coming into the cafeteria and what can be done to save Michelle. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood Wrestlegamer, and I will see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys!
Alright, well, there are her feet. I know they're... For those of you with a feet fetish, you're gross. This basically was a talent enhancement match. My guess is, since we saw what appeared to be the start of a new gimmick for Bo, that they're going to run him through some talent enhancement match.